So Timothy Chalamet has this great interview clip that I've seen where I guess the interviewer asks everybody for a quote or something like that. And he says, life comes to you, or life comes from you, not at you, right? That's his quote. And wow, I mean, that's a great quote. It's such a good quote. And I think it's so true. First of all, allow me to say here, Timothy Chalamet. Tim, can I call you Tim? I'll call you Tim. Huge fan, like actually a huge fan. I watched the last 2 Christmases ago, Willy Wonka. You were really, that was a great movie. I don't know why more people weren't watching Willy Wonka. That was a great movie. I had one of the Oompa Loompas as my profile picture for weeks. I don't know why, but I did. Last year I saw you in the Bob Dylan movie. Great work. I'll be seated for Marty Supreme this Christmas. I'm ready. Just want to throw that out there. Thank you for all you do for the community. Whatever that community is, don't know. But you're doing it. Either way. I've always thought about this quote, not so much in the context of just Timothy Chalamet saying it, but it reminds me of this idea that Nietzsche has, right? His famous idea of the will to power. Basically, this idea goes, there are 2 kinds of people. People that realize that you have the power or you don't, right? Kind of a response to nihilism, of in this, context of nothing meaning anything, you either realize that all the cards are in your hand or none of the cards are in your hand, because nothing really, there's no actual meaning that exists, and power is like a construct of the mind, that kind of thing. Listen, is Nietzsche somebody we should listen to about many things? I don't know, I go back and forth on that a lot, just because I'm not saying a philosopher's life should make you judge their work, right? You gotta separate the art from the artist sometimes. But it's really hard for me to hear Nietzsche say that when he literally just sat inside all day. This guy didn't do anything. He went outside and died, guys. You think I'm joking? He literally went outside for the first time and died because of something he saw. He saw a horse getting whipped and he just fell to the floor and died from it because he couldn't handle it. Should we? And now he's a self-help, if I'm not mistaken, Nietzsche is perceived to be somebody for self-help sort of esque people who are into that stuff. And is that who we want to listen to for that? I don't know. Listen, I'm not a fan of Marcus Aurelius, the whole meditation thing. I'm sure you guys heard of it. Roman emperor wrote down in his journal every night what he thinks he should do with his life. And people read that and it's the best self-help stoic book ever. Kind of a self-help thing, I guess, at this point, right? And not my thing. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of that stuff, but he was the Roman emperor. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, Mark. It did some stuff. Nietzsche, though, I'm listen, I don't know. Genealogy of Morals, good. Beyond Good and Evil, good. God is Dead, interesting stuff there. That's pretty cool. But should I listen to you? I don't know. Either way, this concept of everybody having the power, not true, right? Power is a very real thing, and who has it and who doesn't says a ton about how our society works. The fact of the matter is here that it is a good concept for tomorrow. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by, I hate that I ask myself a question. I hate when I do that. You guys if you're a long-time viewer, I hate when I ask myself a question, which I just did. But what do we mean? What do we mean by tomorrow, right? I think that there's 2 types of messages out there, right? As far as motivational stuff goes, or not even motivational, just I guess, I don't know, what do we call the cross section between how to live your life and the ideas that you use to live it? I don't know what we refer to that as. I'm gonna call it motivational though. I think 2 types of messages exist. Either what I think is a fake message of everything is in your power and you will be successful, and if you are not successful, it's all your fault, and kind of a bogus thing, right? Blaming everybody for every problem they have is just not true. There are reasons that because of society and yada 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 that things exist. There are, whether we want to say it or not, right? And I think that's important to say. I don't like when people say that everything's in your hands, because it's not. We kind of talked about this yesterday. Success is a very existentially random thing, right? And when you tell people they can fix all their problems, all that's going to happen is they're going to be sitting there in a couple months when they didn't fix all their problems, and they're going to be man, I'm not happy, right? So I don't like lying in that regard. Usually if somebody's telling you that every problem's your own, I feel like they're trying to sell you something. I've noticed a big overlap in that, at least. But I think there's another type of advice kind of in line with this. Not so much that I would refer to as being like an idea of all the power being in your hand, not this, not this Nietzschean will to power, if we want to call it that, but more so an idea that there is a degree of autonomy that you can exercise over your decisions and over your life to make tomorrow better than today. That's why I refer to it as tomorrow, right? That kind of like that category of advice. Because there is, going back to this Timothy Chalamet quote, why did I start with this, right? Because I think it's, one, it did remind me of a Nietzsche quote, which I thought was interesting. Timothy Chalamet talking about some stuff that reminded me of Nietzsche. I don't know, I thought that was something to talk about, but mainly because I think it's a better way, actually, of going about this, right? I don't think it's that we can fix everything. I don't think that every problem in front of you can magically get better. If you're like, they're like, sometimes you're just like broke or something, you know what I mean? Like those things are sometimes out of your control. Either way, right? I don't want to dwell on what we can't fix. I want to talk about tomorrow. We can fix, right? There is a very real thing that so much of, and this is like a super corny thing to say, I hate that I'm here saying this, so much of what you are, who you are, comes from inside, how you perceive yourself. And I will not be accepting any other interpretations of it. I really won't. I think that so much more of life than we are willing to admit is an extremely mental game. I really do. And I think that, listen, so much of our problems are because we're not who we want to be. A lot of our problems, yes, are because we're not, we are missing certain things from our life, but many of our problems, I think if we really go back and sit and reflect upon them, are because we are not who we want to be. Not because we don't have things, because we're not who we want to be, right? And I think those problems are so much more in our control than we're willing to admit. I'm gonna use kind of a personal example here, right? Growing up, I had really bad body dysmorphia. I never called it that because I didn't know what that word meant. But years later, I look back on it, I'm like, man, like, that's definitely what that was, right? And listen, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. Sometimes, obviously, I'm like, man, it could be a little thinner, could have a little better muscles. Sometimes you're watching an episode of Peacemaker, you see how good Vigilante looks, and you're like, man, that could be me, right? And that sucks, right? That obviously sucks. I wouldn't say I struggled the way I used to as a kid, because I've been fortunate enough to grow out of some of these things, right? But I've noticed a really clear pattern as some of the I guess if you want to call it the residual dysmorphia still sits, right? I really only feel it after I haven't worked out for a while. And I'm not gonna, the numbers don't lie. It's not like I get thinner or way fatter if I don't work out for a while. It's just because I feel that way. I just feel lazy, and that causes me to have worse feelings about it, right? Yeah, I mean, the solution obviously is just get, I guess look like Vigilante maybe. Like maybe I should work on that. But, I think we should ignore that for this episode. This is something that I refer to as tomorrow, If you're feeling bad about something, let's say you are having a similar struggle to me, you're watching a new Peacemaker episode, you're like, man, Vigilante looks good, right? Like, man, Judo Master looks amazing in that suit. If you go and work out tomorrow, you're gonna be 1,000,000 pounds thinner? No, not at all. Are you gonna look like Vigilante after one day? No, not at all. But I think you'll feel a lot better about it. And I think that in itself, so many more of our problems are one day away if we shift our mindset a little bit. If we just work through the problems on a mental turf, everything else can fall into line so much easier. Because this is another thing that I think comes sort of from my experience having this body dysmorphia as a kid, right? I always thought that this is good because it will motivate me. I feel terrible about this thing, but it motivate me because I'll feel so bad about it that I'm gonna want to do something, right? Sort of like the classic thing of bullying works, guys. Call your fat friend dumb and fat and he'll get skinny. That doesn't work. That just does not work. That's never in a million years has any sort of mental problem been solved through negative stuff like that, right? If that was how it worked, we would have no addicts ever, right? Because they would be like, man, everyone's making fun of me for doing all these drugs, I should stop. That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. It's just not even close, right? And that's why I think this idea is so important to me, because feeling terrible about something actually makes it harder to do something about it than easier, right? And I think that's why what's important to me is not being like, I feel terrible, I'm gonna grind and get better. I feel terrible. It's okay, because you apply this shift in mindset that comes, and then you can solve your problem so much easier. Having a clear head is really the only way forward through so many things. And in that way, I love the quote that life comes, what would Timothy Chalamet say? Comes from you, because it does. In this way, I think it totally does. I think that encapsulates so well how I feel about this. So many things, once you get your mind right, fall into place so much easier, right? Like David Goggins is kind of the ultimate example of this, right? Everybody wants to be David Goggins. Like everybody wants to be like, I can run 1,000,000 miles, right? The easier way to become David Goggins is not to go outside and start running. It's not to just be like, I'll just like brute force through it, even though I'm like, maybe. But the easier way is to get David Goggins' mind about these things. Once you can understand how they think and try and apply that to your own thinking, it's so much easier to do these things. I don't know how that happens. Like, I don't know how I mean, for me, I know like it comes to like small action, stuff like that. I don't know if that's everybody. I don't know how this, this is the first time I'm admitting these things to anyone, but, maybe it comes through like meditation. That sounds right. Never meditated a day in my life. Well, I have like once, but like, haven't in years, so I can't say, but I don't know. This is the painting. So I want to try kind of a yellow fading from, like, I didn't want to do any colors, but just a yellow. Then I realized that looked bad, so I went for a full sphere and just like left these drips. Why does this exist? I don't know. I don't like it. So go check this out on the TikTok. It'll be up on the Instagram towards the end of the week. And till next time, guys, gals, and pals, my name is Mac Dice. This has been Paint Talk episode 282. I'm here every morning painting and talking with you all.